Yes, students. So we had started with the chapter on monopoly. So for a brief recap, monopoly is a market structure where we are talking about a single seller selling the product in the industry. So because he is a single seller in the industry, there are no close substitutes available for his product in the market. There are strong barriers to the entry of new firms into the industry. Because the seller is a single seller, he is the price maker, which means that he is the one who only decides the price of the product. Then we had started with the when we then there was a theoretical part which we had taken in the last class, which is your what are the or should I say the what are the different types of monopoly and what are the barriers to the entry of new firms into the market. Then subsequently we had done about the equilibrium price and output under monopoly, wherein we did about the assumptions. Then the demand curve facing the monopoly, if you remember, you have drawn in the class the AR and MR curve. The average revenue curve is the demand curve of the buyer. So whatever the buyer is spending, that becomes the revenue of the producer. That is why the average revenue curve and the demand curve is one and the same. So I told you that in the class also, whenever we write AR in the bracket, we will write it as demand. We'll write it as demand, which means that it shows the demand curve of the buyer. This is the demand curve of the buyer, students. This is the demand curve of the buyer. So that is what we have done it in the class. So when AR is downward sloping, MR curve will also be downward sloping. MR curve will also be downward sloping. So downward sloping. So then we had done the equilibrium condition. The equilibrium condition is where MC is equal to MR. So I have told you in the previous class, when you draw your MC curve, so this is your MC curve, and where both of them will meet, that is the point where there is an equilibrium point. We call it as an equilibrium point, and this is the point where the firm will be in equilibrium. And the second condition is that MC is cutting MR from below. So this is what you have drawn it in the class also. Then we had the calculation of profit, because students keep one thing in mind, that any producer, if he is into the business and is selling the product or the services, the objective of the business is to earn profit. So you will say, ma'am, there are so many other types of organizations also who are working for not earning profits. Yes, but when you talk about most of the firms in the country or most of the firms in the world, they are into the business because they want to earn profits. So when the firm is producing the product, selling in the market, automatically we need to understand that is he going to earn profits, or is he into losses. To understand or to how to calculate the profit and the loss, we have to look into these two, that is the average revenue of the firm and the average cost. If the average revenue is more than the average cost, it is a profit for the firm. If they are both are equal, it is means the firm is earning normal profit. If you remember in the class, I had told you, when I say that the firm is earning normal profit, it means that much profit which is helping the firm to sustain themselves for their businesses. But if the revenue is less than the cost, then the firm is incurring losses. So now we start here, students, with the output determination, price output determination under monopoly. So we will be doing under the price output determination under monopoly in the two time periods, which we call it as short run and the long run. Students, I just want to tell you again, short run, long run definition remains the same. The short run definition, what we did it in production chapter, it remains the same. Short run is a time period where some factors of production are fixed, some factors of production are variable. If the firm has to increase his level of output in the short run, he can do so only by increasing the variable factor. The fixed factor will remain the same. So that is what I am trying to tell you, students, that the definition of short run and the long run will remain the same. So here again I repeat, short run is a time period where some factors of production are fixed, some factors of production are variable. If the firm has to increase his level of output, he can do so by increasing his variable factor. Fixed factor will remain the same. In the long run, what happens is all the factors of production are variable in nature. If the firm is expanding its level of output, then the firm can do so by changing all the factors of production. So first we are going to start here with short run equilibrium under monopoly. So we are talking about in the short run, the firm is producing. In the short run, the firm is producing. So if the firm is producing a desired level of output, is the firm going to earn profit or is the firm is going to earn losses? I think so all of you understand that in the short period of time, there is a possibility that the firm can earn more profits. There is a possibility that the firm can earn only normal profits. There is a possibility that the firm can even incur losses. You will ask me, ma'am, he is a single seller. Why he will earn losses or why he will earn only normal profits? This is so because students, the earning of profits or losses all depends on the demand. If you remember, I gave you one example that in the class, that when first time when the dishwashers they were introduced in India, it was introduced by a company called IFB, which is again still there in the IFB is a foreign company, and they sell washing machines, they sell dishwashers also. But when it was introduced for the first time, they were not able to sell because the demand for the dishwashers in India was very, very low. So students, if he is a single seller also, if the demand is low in the market, he may not be able to sell his product. And if he is not able to sell his product, automatically he will incur losses. So a monopolist, though he is a single seller in the market, though he does not have any competition in the market, but still he can earn losses in the short period of time because of the lack of demand or because of the less of demand for its product. So students, we will be taking three different situations for monopolist. That there is a possibility that the monopolist can earn supernormal profit. If demand is good, he is selling at a good price, he earns more profit. The second one is he may earn normal profits. The demand is there in the market, but it may not be so great. So whatever is the demand in the market for its product, he is earning normal profit, which is helping him to sustain himself in the long run. In the short run, he may also incur loss because he has started the business, the product is new, that there is no demand in the market or there is less demand in the market. So he is incurring loss. But over a period of time, there is always a possibility that his demand increases and he is able to recover the loss. But that we are not talking in the long run, but we are talking in the short run, that initially he start with the business and he is a single seller, but there is lack of demand. Because of that, he may be incurring losses. Now students, what I'm trying to tell you is we are going to take three instances. We are going to take three instances of a monopolist may be earning supernormal profits, he may be earning normal profits, or he may be incurring loss. So the first graph, student, if you see it here, it is the supernormal profits where we are talking about a monopolist is earning supernormal profits. And I just told you before also, supernormal profits is calculated when the average revenue of the firm is greater than the average cost of the firm. Now student, this is the graph. I will try to draw the graph with the drawing, and you will be drawing along with me, students, so that you should be, because if you are able to understand how the graph is drawn, one graph is drawn, you will be able to do it again on your own. So students, you will draw the two axes. On the y-axis, you will be drawing the price, you will be writing the price. On the x-axis, you will be writing the output as what is there in this graph also. Please draw the two axes, students. Please draw the two axes, x-axis and the y-axis, all of you. I'm just trying to draw it with this whatever cursor I have. This is price and this is output. Have you drawn, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Rest of you students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You will see the step by step how I am drawing the graph, and you will be drawing like that only, students. If you draw step by step that graph and you learn how to do it, it will help you to draw the graphs for all the chapters which is there in this unit. So the first you are going to draw the AR-MR curve. This is your AR, which you have drawn it before also, which I have been telling you again and again. It's a demand curve of the buyer. Just spare me with this bad handwriting. And then you will draw the MR curve. Oh, this is not come. Little teda it has come. This is your MR. Have you drawn AR-MR curve, students? Both are downward sloping.
Yes, ma'am.
Now the second thing what you have to do is draw it, students, sorry, is your MC curve, because the first step for finding out the supernormal profit is to find out the equilibrium of the firm. So as I told you, I will draw the MC curve. And when you draw the MC curve, where the MC is cutting the AC, please put a point and write it as E. This is your equilibrium point, students. All of you have drawn the equilibrium point.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have drawn AR curve, MR curve. The third is you have drawn the MC curve, and when you draw the MC curve, your MC and MR is equal to each other. Now students, from this MC point, that is from the equilibrium point, you will take the line towards the output axis. Yes, from the equilibrium point, you are going to draw the line towards the output axis. And wherever it is touching the output axis, you will give a point as N, which means that the equilibrium point is helping us to find the equilibrium output. Your ON is your equilibrium output. This is your equilibrium output, which means that the firm is going to produce ON level of output. This monopolist is going to produce ON level of output. Now, when he is producing ON level of output, we have to see that in this we are writing that he is producing ON level of output. So, first of all, we have to find out at what price he is selling that. Second, if he is selling at that price, we have to find it out that is he earning profit? In our example, he is saying we are earning profit. Now, student, look carefully. You have drawn a line. We have drawn a line towards the output axis, which is giving you the equilibrium output. From you come back to the same equilibrium point. You come back to the same equilibrium point, and from that point you take the line forward towards the AR curve. So students, again I repeat, from the point equilibrium point, you have taken a line towards the x-axis, which is giving you the level of output. Now, in order to find out the price, because if you remember, average revenue is equal to price. This is a demand curve. Demand curve is giving the relationship between the price and the demand. And the price, we are measuring it on the y-axis. So from the equilibrium point, students, take the line towards the towards the average revenue curve. This point from here, it should touch the average revenue curve, students. And wherever it is touching the average revenue curve, from there you take the line towards the price axis. That is your y-axis. Have you done, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So there you will write it on P. So your equilibrium OP, that is means OP is your equilibrium price. Equilibrium price means that the monopolist is selling ON of output at OP price. Students, very simple. I'm just drawing something here. Don't draw it again. This is your demand curve. Demand curve means price is this much. This is the price and this is the demand. This is what we have drawn till now. It means that if you are demanding 5 units, you are paying 5 rupees for each unit. It means this is 25 rupees. So your demand curve is only giving you the price. Here also the demand curve is only giving you the price, N and price. Are you able to understand, students?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm just again. So this is what we have done. So we have found out the price, we have found out the output. That is what we were doing, price output determination. So output, how are you going to find? Output you are going to find when you are equating MC is equal to MR. Wherever is the point equilibrium point, from that point you are bringing it towards the output axis, you get the output. Same from the equilibrium point, if you move towards up and touch it to the average revenue, you will get the price, which is OP. From this you will take it towards the y-axis because we are measuring price on the y-axis. Now we have to find out that if the firm is producing ON level of output selling at OP price, is the firm earning profits? According to this example what we are taking, we are saying that the firm is earning profits. And profit is always when the revenue is more and the cost is less. So what is the revenue? Revenue is your price, students. If you remember, we have done your revenue analysis. OP is your price, OP is your revenue. If you want to put this is parallel to each other, you can put it here. We have put it as, I am putting it as M or whatever it is. So your AR, because now we have to know if it's profit or loss. AR is equal to OP, or it is equal to MN. Do you think MN is equal to OP, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Because OP, this line, OP line and OM line, they are parallel to each other, students, so both will be equal to each other. Both will be equal to each other. So your average revenue when the firm is producing ON level of output, you'll write it down. Student, just write down at ON level of output. At ON level of output. Change the line and write down AR is equal to OP in the bracket, which is also equal to MN. AR is equal to OP, which is equal to MN. Now, we are saying supernormal profit. It means our cost should be less. So it means that our cost should be less than OP. So what we are going to do, students, we are going to draw now the last AC curve. and we will draw the AC curve in such a way that it is lower than AR. So students, just look at how I'm drawing it. This is AC curve is U-shaped curve. And if you remember the relationship between AC and MC, MC cuts AC at its minimum point. So what I have drawn? I have drawn the AC curve in such a way that it is below the AR curve. This is your AR curve, which is a straight line, downward sloping line. And this is the AC curve. And I'm saying it is below the AC curve, especially at ON level of output at this point. Sorry, students. Especially when we are talking about ON level of output, at this ON level of output, our AC should be less. Your AR is MN, and see where it is touching the AC, it is touching at this point. So ON line, student, the same line, the output line, the equilibrium line, the AR line, they are the same. If you go from here, it is touching the AC at this point where I have put it in black. And I put this point as S. I just put this point as S. So what is your AR is OP, what is your AC? AC is equal to S N. Your AR is MN, your AC is SN, because the output line is touching the average cost curve at point S. Average cost curve at point S. Are you able to get it, students? Are you there with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to get it? How to get the average cost? First of all, how to draw the average cost, which has to be below, and then how
Yes,
to
ma'am.
find out the average cost. Start with the line from ON, move upwards, and see where it is touching the AC curve. And students, to find the supernormal profit, your supernormal profit will be how much? Your AR is MN, AC is SN, so your supernormal profit is equal to MS. Supernormal profit is equal to MS, this area, students. This area, MS. And if you have to find the total from point S, I will extend the line towards the from S, I will extend the line towards the y-axis. And from where it is touching, I'll put it as T. So I will write it down. SNP is equal to MS, or I'm the yellow line, or I will write it down, or it is equal to, sorry students, P M S T. That is the small rectangle which I have shaded with yellow. Either I say it is MS, or I say the total triangle, total rectangle, which is PMST. Did you get it, students? So in this graph and in subsequent all the graphs, we are going to take 4 curves: AR, MR, AC, MC. MR and MC will be used to find out the equilibrium point. AR and AC will be used to find out the profit or loss. That is what we are going to do it all in subsequent graphs. I hope so all of you have drawn the graph.
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
Now tell me.
ma'am, could you please
Tell me.
explain the S&P minus MS part?
S&P minus. S&P minus है equal है please.
Okay, ma'am.
It's not minus. S&P is equal to what is supernormal profit? Because the revenue is more and the cost is less. So he is earning supernormal profit, which is MS.
Okay, ma'am.
S. Not equal. It is not minus. So now students, if you have finished, then we will go to the next one. This is all is whatever I have just explained it to you. This is there in your explanation. Now we are doing the opposite, which is the loss EBIT. Revenue is less than cost. Students, everything is just the same. You draw AR, MR, you find out the equilibrium point. From equilibrium point, you will find out the AR, that is the price. Only difference, students, this all you have to do it in your homework, students. The AC curve, because your average cost is more than the average revenue, we have drawn the AC curve which is above the AR. Just check it out, students. If you see, you can see my cursor. This is your AR. Sorry, this is your AC. And you see that this is your AR curve, which is a straight line, and AC we have drawn it on the top. Because in this we are showing that AR is less, AC is more. Are you able to get me, students?
Yes, ma'am.
So this graph you will be drawing it in your homework. Similarly, the third graph also you will be drawing in your homework, which is normal profits graph. AR is equal to AC. And if you see, check it here, student, the AC curve is on AR. This AC curve which we have drawn is on the AR. So rest of the curves are going to be the same. AR, MR, MC curve, all three curves are going to be the same. Only to find out the difference, that is profit, loss, or the normal profit, we have to position our AC curve either above the AR, below the AR, or on the AR. So I have explained it to you, student. First graph on the same line, you have to continue with you have to draw the second graph and the third graph in your notebook. So tomorrow when I am going to come to the class, I want that all the students should have drawn the third graph, 3 graphs. I have already shared this with you in the Google Classroom. You can check it from there and draw it. But I want all the 3 graphs to be drawn before you come to the class tomorrow. Because I'm not going to do this, I'm going to straight away go to the long run. Is it clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Please give a try.
Yes.
I want you to give a try because
Yes, ma'am.
this will help you to practice also.